Demi-official letter. This form is generally used in correspondence by one government officer with another with the purpose of drawing his or her personal attention in an official matter of importance or urgency. हमेशा ऐसा होता है, हम एक दो चिट्ठी लिखते हैं, रिप्लाई नहीं आता है, फिर we think it's useless to write reminders. Then we request our senior officers to dictate a DO letter. Generally, DO letters are dictated, but most of the time in our examination, they ask you to draft a DO letter. Then I find always in my experience, I find everybody is able to write good DO letter. DO letter का draft जो भी लिखना होता है, I always find this letter is written by, attempted very well by the students. Because whatever you are, you may be ASO or PA, you come across DO letters. If you are a PA, your officer may be dictating one or two DO letters to you. That way, वो परिचय होते हैं. Then ASO, most of the time they put up letters, DO letters, draft DO letters. Since demi-official letter is written in the first person, in a personal and friendly tone, it should be addressed by an officer to another of similar level or similar rank as far as possible. बराबर का रैंक वालों को लिखा जाता है DO letter. In the event of non-availability of officer of the same level at receiving end, the same may be addressed to an officer one or two levels below the officer to whom such communication is addressed. अगर बराबर रैंक का joint secretary is trying to find joint secretary, his counterpart in that department, he is not finding anyone. Then he may write one or two levels lower in rank. तो ऐसा हो सकता है. Then demi-official letter may be used for communicating with officers in other public offices except chief of the constitutional authorities. Our department ko, that is any other ministry or department, head of those ministries or head of the department, you can write a DO letter. Suppose you are writing to a commission of inquiry or Union Public Service Commission, then you should not address DO letter to the chairman. You should send only to the secretary to the commission, UPSC. In such cases, communications are addressed to the secretary of such authorities. A minister may communicate with another minister at center or state government or a member of parliament or state legislature using DO letter. Minister to minister, central minister or state minister or MP, a DO letter can be sent. Communication to non-officials. Suppose you have given orders for supply of certain goods. You have received a lot. One lot is defective. You are asking them to replace. You take back that goods and then replace. Nothing is happening. Those people are not responding. Then in that case, you may write a DO letter to that chief of that company. Likewise, orders are placed for supply of certain goods, partly supplied, the other part is not forthcoming. In that case also you can write a DO letter. Then what are the things we have to keep in mind? Every communication has certain speciality. In the case of DO letter, there is no paragraph number. In the to address, you won't write to, you will simply write the address. Likewise, there is no subject in DO letter. As The objective of writing DO letter is to call for personal attention of the addressee. The style of writing should be direct, personal, and friendly. More usage of active voice to be preferred. Example, I notice rather than it is noticed. It is expedient to come to the issue at the beginning itself. थोड़ा सा एक पैराग्राफ इंट्रोडक्शन लिख के उसके बाद चिट्ठी शुरू करना, वो नहीं. Straight away you can come to the matter. I seek your cooperation in the matter of, ऐसा भी शुरू कर सकता है. A DO letter should preferably not exceed 1 page. DO लिखने के समय एक ही पेज में, so that it will find their attention. It will attract the attention of the officer. आप 2-3 पेज लिखेंगे, they will not please put up करके छोड़ देंगे. It should be catchy, 1 page. अगर एग्जाम लिखने के समय एग्जाम में एक ही पेज में कभी कंटेंट, ये एड्रेस ऊपर एड्रेस होता है, नीचे एड्रेस होता है, एक ही पेज में नहीं आता है, सो यू कैन एक्सीड. इट्स नॉट अ रूल. इसलिए एग्जाम में भी जाकर एक ही पेज में लिखना है, ऐसा नहीं. बट सम आर कैपेबल, सम ऑफ यू आर कैपेबल, इवन अदर कम्युनिकेशंस आल्सो यू आर एबल टू कंटेन विद इन अ पेज. इट्स ओके, you will do it. But अगर if it exceeds 1 page, कोई crime नहीं है. You can do it. If the message to be conveyed is lengthy, it's better to condense it into 1 page in a small and healthily divided paragraphs in a manner that holds the interest of the addressee. पढ़ने पर interest होना चाहिए, ऐसा. The detailed arguments can be set out in appendix. तो enclosure में छोड़ दो details को. Just like any other communication, you will write a DFA, start with DFA. Then here in the from address, left hand side top, you will write, suppose this is the sample is given. VK Gupta IAS. IAS should not go to the next line. It should go IAS, IPS वगैरह वगैरह. वो साथ आना चाहिए, नाम का साथ ही. VK Gupta, IAS, full stop, Joint Secretary. Designation is coming here. So it will not come under the signature. वो नीचे जब VK गुप्ता लिखेंगे साइन करने के जगह, उधर उसके नीचे जॉइंट सेक्रेटरी ने लिखा नहीं जाता है. In other communication, in for instance your letter or office memorandum, you are writing joint secretary to the government of India. This is not the case here. ऊपर ही लिखा जाता है VK गुप्ता IAS जॉइंट सेक्रेटरी, उसके नीचे जो भी है टेलीफोन नंबर वगैरह, वो कुछ भी नहीं है तो टेलीफोन नंबर तो लिखना है. Then on the right hand side, the full address, number of the communication also is here. DO number dash Government of India, Bharat Sarkar, Ministry of Home Affairs, गृह मंत्रालय है, पूरा एड्रेस आ गया. Then New Delhi D dash. इसका बाद Dear Sri और My Dear. पुराने जमाने में Dear Sri लिखने से सीनियर ऑफिसर को लिखा जाता है. That is, you are writing under a deputy secretary is writing to joint secretary, then Dear Sri लिखता है. लेकिन आजकल ऐसा नहीं है. Everybody is addressed Dear Sri. तो ऐसा हो गया प्रोटोकॉल का ज्यादा इंपॉर्टेंस नहीं देते हैं. You can safely write DST so and so. But what happens in DO letter, Sri वगैरह का मतलब नहीं होता है. My dear Rawat, Dear Sri Rawat, ऐसा भी लिखा जाता है. So it is addressed, suppose the full name is Beer Singh Rawat. So you don't write while starting the communication, you don't write Beer Singh Rawat. कभी कभी आंध्रा में Andhrites, those belonging to Andhra, Telangana, they have got too many syllables in the name. AVBP Rao, ऐसा होता है. So you need not elaborate that full name. You need not, ये तो पूरा पेज भर जाएगा. You can write डियर श्री राव और माय डियर राव, ऐसा हो सकता है. So it is better to address like that. Then how to start a DO? You have to see these are all only example. There are 100 methods by which you can start, but it will be always from my side, that is I करके शुरू करते हैं. I would like to draw your kind attention to, ऐसा start कर सकते हैं. I seek your personal attention to, ऐसा भी लिख सकते हैं. I hasten to acknowledge your DO number dated such and such. I hurriedly acknowledge. I hasten to, haste means jaldi jaldi. I hasten to acknowledge receipt of your letter. Or you can put it this way also. May I request you to recall the telephonic conversation we had this morning. कभी कभी ऐसा होता है तो पहले सुबह सुबह बुलाकर समझा दिया गया है during the day that particular officer to whom the DO is being sent, उनको टेलीफोन से बुलाकर उनसे बात किया जाता है. That is, you can explain it very well directly talking to that person. अगर कुछ समझ में नहीं आता है तो he will ask you, ये क्या बात है, आप समझाओ. So you can talk to him first, then followed by a DO letter. May I request you to recall the telephonic conversation we had this morning on particular subject, regarding particular subject. Yeah. Our body of the letter may, I need not overemphasize the need. क्या बोलते हैं, ऐसा भी लिख सकते हैं. This is a conventional method. I need not overemphasize the urgency of the matter. ऐसा पुराने जमाने, मेरा टाइम पर ऐसे लिखते थे. I need not overemphasize. लेकिन अभी ऐसा लिखा जाता है, perhaps I need to emphasize. ये तो इतना लेटर लिखा गया है, आपसे कुछ रिप्लाई नहीं आता, आपका दफ्तर से कोई रिप्लाई नहीं आता है. Don't accuse anybody in the DO letter. You just say, the reply is yet awaited. That's all. So, इधर लिखने के समय perhaps I need to emphasize, ऐसा करके क्या emphasize करना चाहते हैं वो लिख सकते हैं. Then finally concluding paragraph में कैसे conclude करते हैं, I shall feel highly obliged if you could personally intervene, ऐसा कर सकता है. I shall be grateful if you could pay personal attention to the matter. जो भी मामला है वो लिख के, and get the matter expedited at your earliest convenience. ये get the matter expedited or have the matter expedited, ये दोनों लैंग्वेज यूज कर सकते हैं. कभी कभी you don't tell, suppose you are addressing to the top person of that department, then you don't ask him, please reply, please submit this, जल्दी करो, ऐसा नहीं बोला जाता है. You get it done, have it done. आप अपना दफ्तर से ये करवाओ, जल्दी कराइए, ये ऐसा बोला जाता है. So get the matter expedited at your earliest convenience. Then suppose you are rejecting some request, or you are facing some embarrassing situation, or you are not comfortable with. So ऐसा मामले में ऐसा conclude कर सकते हैं. I am sure you will appreciate the situation because you have rejected. Rejection itself is very harsh. आप कितना भी politely sugar coated language लिखो, you have after all rejected. Suppose CBI wrote a DO letter to the finance secretary expenditure. CBI director एक सरदार जी थे, वो लिखे थे, I was DG BSF, Director General BSF, मेरे को इधर पोस्ट किया गया है सीबीआई डायरेक्टर करके, लेकिन इधर आने के बाद आई एम सरप्राइज्ड that I have much less financial powers than what I had in my earlier capacity. इसका मतलब promote नहीं हुआ मैं तो demote हो गया है. My financial powers are insufficient. अभी I need at this point of time enclosure में मैं सारा calculation ये इस मामले में complete calculation एक sheet लगाया. I request you to sanction purchase of 200 ambassador cards for CBI. ऐसा करके एक लिख के चिट्ठी लिखा था. तो बाद में it was a surprise. We got 199 ambassador cards in one go. So ऐसा लिखने, suppose मना करता है, ये क्या पागल के तरह 200 कार मांगता है at a time, ऐसा, then he will conclude with this. I am sure you would appreciate the situation. You understand our position. ऐसा कुछ फाइनेंशियल क्रंच वगैरह के बारे में आप बॉडी में लिख दिया होगा. देन कंक्लूडिंग पैराग्राफ में सूदिंग सेंटेंस एक ऐसा, आई होप यू विल अंडरस्टैंड द पोजीशन. देन विथ रिगार्ड्स, ये हमेशा लिखिए, आजकल ऐसा लिखा जाता है और सबको लिखा जाता है विथ रिगार्ड्स. पहले ऐसा नहीं, सीनियर को लिखने के समय विथ रिगार्ड्स, जूनियर को लिखने के समय विथ गुड विशेस, बेस्ट विशेस, ऐसा करके कंक्लूड करते थे. आजकल ऐसा नहीं, सबको विथ रिगार्ड्स. योर्स सिंसियरली वीके गुप्ता. इधर नाम लिखने के बाद इधर डेसिग्नेशन नहीं लिखा जाता है डीओ में, ऊपर डेसिग्नेशन एक बार नेम एंड डेसिग्नेशन ऊपर दे दिया गया है. सो हियर ओनली नेम इज गिवन, देन उसका नेक्स्ट लाइन का बराबर इधर लिखा जाता है, श्री बी सिंह रावत IAS, जॉइंट सेक्रेटरी सो एंड सो, मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ सच एंड सच, न्यू दिल्ली. ये तो ऐसा कंक्लूड करना है. एंड देयर विल बी अ होमवर्क, प्लीज अटेम्प्ट, यू विल बी एबल टू डू वेल, आई नो. इसमें और एक डीओ होता है. डीओ टू टाइप्स इन अवर क्वेश्चन पेपर. वी फाइंड डीओ क्वेश्चन ऑफ टू टाइप्स, टू डिफरेंट टाइप्स. तो इसलिए ये एक होमवर्क होता है. दूसरा एक होता है दैट इज कैबिनेट सेक्रेटरी राइटिंग टू सेक्रेटरी. नो, कैबिनेट सेक्रेटरी ऑफ यूनियन गवर्नमेंट इज राइटिंग टू चीफ सेक्रेटरीज ऑफ वेरियस स्टेट गवर्नमेंट्स. ऐसे एक डीओ बार बार आता है, इसलिए उसको भी एक होमवर्क लिखना होता है. वो भी लिखिए. उसके बाद हम प्रीसी राइटिंग के बारे में देखेंगे. वो नेक्स्ट डीओ लेटर वो देखने के बाद प्रीसी राइटिंग, उसका एक होमवर्क. उसके बाद हम एक टेस्ट लेंगे, नोटिंग ड्राफ्टिंग टेस्ट. उसमें एक प्रीसी राइटिंग का क्वेश्चन, एक नोटिंग, एक ऑफिस मेमोरेंडम, एक लेटर, एक डीओ लेटर. इसमें इतना आएगा. ऐसा एक, that will be the first test, and at the end there will be a test of for 3 hours. That is the end of the class. There will be a test of noting drafting for 3 hours. कुछ लोग ऐसे उसको स्किप करते हैं. मत करो, होमवर्क नहीं लिखते हैं. आई एम नोटिसिंग, आप लोग बच्चे थोड़ी हैं. to tell you, to remind you, to explain to you, to admonish. कोई स्मॉल चिल्ड्रन नहीं है आप, इसलिए आपको खुद को पता होना चाहिए. वट एवर यू राइट हियर and wherever you commit some mistake, then I correct, then this mistake will not be repeated there in the examination. That is a very good purpose. See, on the teachers day and whenever some people get through the examination, they write good letters. Some people just inform me, sir, I have qualified. Many people write detailed letters. That is the tonic for me. It is बहुत अच्छा लगता है. कुछ लोग डिटेल 4-5 सेंटेंस लिखते हैं. तो उसमें जरूर ये मेंशन करते हैं, बिकॉज योर प्रैक्टिस सेशंस, दैट मीन्स होमवर्क, योर टेस्ट, ये सारा हमें मदद मिला है इनसे. तो आपको भी मदद मिलेगा, यू सबमिट। अगर नहीं करते हैं, इट्स अप टू यू। ओके ओके। We were discussing in the last class about how a bill becomes an act. We'll conclude this, then thereafter we'll go to pension rules. No, there is in between there is one committees, parliamentary committees. ये भी very very important. Scrutiny of bill, ये एक हाउस में पास हो गया, it is passed on to the next house, there also it is passed, then immediately it is not going to the president. It will be sent to the Ministry of Law for making corrections. कभी कभी पार्लियामेंट में अमेंडमेंट्स होता है, करेक्शंस होता है, मॉडिफिकेशंस होता है, तो पास तो हो जाता है, लेकिन सर्टेन करेक्शंस, अमेंडमेंट्स, मॉडिफिकेशंस, when the discussion takes place, some amendments, so all these things have to be properly carried out with all proper attention, because it is a legal document. इसलिए तो इसको मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ लॉ का पास, एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव मिनिस्ट्री को नहीं भेजा जाता है. It is after the second house also passes, then that bill copy is sent to Ministry of Law for appropriate corrections, modifications, verifications, scrutiny. Scrutiny of the bill after passage by the Parliament. When a bill is passed by both the houses of Parliament, the Secretariat of the House which is in possession of the bill, that is second house, first house pass करने के बाद second house में आया, then उधर भी pass होने के बाद उस house से यह bill will be sent to Ministry of Law. When a bill is passed by both the houses of Parliament, the Secretariat of the House which is in possession of the bill may send a copy to the Ministry of Law for scrutiny. The Ministry of Law will identify the mistakes, if any, relating to modifications, printing, spelling, numbering of sections, clauses, headings in the margins, incorporation of amendments, etc., and return the bill to the Secretariat of the House under advice to the Administrative Ministry. करेक्ट करने के बाद इसको वापस उसी हाउस में भेजा जाएगा. Actually, in those days, sometimes this bill becoming an act, इसको दो टुकड़ा बनाकर a bill, how it is prepared in the ministry, how it is initiated in the ministry, how it is developed into a draft by the Ministry of Law, after getting it approved in the cabinet, then इसके बाद the bill comes back to the administrative ministry. After whatever documents, support documents should go with that bill. So that everything is, all these requirements are completed and the bill is sent to Ministry of Law, and thereafter it will be sent to the Parliament House, whichever house they want to introduce. That up to that one 10-mark question. And another, after it becomes the baby of the Parliament, एक हाउस में the minister seeks leave of the house to introduce, वो परमिशन मिलने के बाद उसको इंट्रोड्यूस कर देता है, then it will be the baby of the Parliament. इसके बाद administrative ministry के पास वो बिल आएगा ही नहीं. It will go from one house to the other. Then wherever requirement is there, it will come to Ministry of Law. Then it will go back to the House. Then from there, it will go to the President. Then after his approval, it will go to the press. Everything. So after everything is over, when it becomes an act, then only it will come to the administrative ministry. President's assent. The bill is forwarded by the Secretariat with the superscription as passed by both the houses of Parliament. If it is a money bill, the Speaker will certify that it's a money bill so that the President is forbidden to return the bill for reconsideration. अगर बिल दोनों हाउस में पास हो गया तो the second house will give a certificate that as passed by both the houses of Parliament, then it is sent to the President for his assent. जब उधर पहुंच जाता है प्रेसिडेंट के पास, प्रेसिडेंट हैज 3 ऑप्शंस. 1, ही कैन गिव असेंट. 2, उसके ऊपर सो सकते हैं. 3, ये है वो वन टाइम, once he can return the bill for reconsideration to the Parliament. So if it is a money bill, he doesn't have the third option. That is, he cannot return the bill. He can only pass the bill, give assent or withhold the bill. Withhold because there is no provision in the Constitution compelling the President to give his assent within a limited, that a certain period. इसका कोई period limitation नहीं है. So he can keep the bill forever. But the ऐसा करना, it is not his discretionary power. It is so-called discretionary power. तो कभी कभी ऐसा लिखते हैं, this is discretion. It is not so. It is also covered by Article 74, that is aid and advice by the Council of Ministers. इसलिए if it is a money bill, he doesn't have that option that to return that. He has to either pass it or withhold. Then if it is a Constitution Amendment bill, according to 44th Amendment Act, he has no other go but to sign the bill. तो उसको कोई सोचने का ये नहीं है. He cannot return the bill, he cannot withhold the bill, कुछ नहीं. With the proper majority, if it is passed in the Parliament, then the President sign करना पड़ेगा. The President has 3 options in respect of non-money bills and the bills other than Constitution Amendment bills. 1, he can give his assent. Number 2, he can declare withholding of assent. Number 3, he can send the bill for reconsideration once. In the event of third choice, if the bill is reconsidered and passed again, he has to give his assent. एक दफा और एक दफा पास कर लिया, President साहब uses his third option. उसको वापस करते हैं, please reconsider. Then they reconsider and then pass the bill once again. Then President has no other go but to sign. In the case of money bill, he has 2 options. Either he can give his assent or withhold his assent. He cannot return it for reconsideration. In the case of Constitution Amendment bills, he is constitutionally bound to give his assent. The question of withholding of assent is a legislative function and has to be exercised only on the advice of Council of Ministers under Article 74. अगर ऐसा करने का सजेस्ट किया गया है, advice किया गया है, then he will do it. Otherwise, he will not on his own withhold assent. Once the President gives his assent, the bill becomes an act. Again, this is only namesake. The President साहब का signature आज हो गया तो आज ही कितना भी रात हो, this has to be got printed in today's extraordinary gazette. उधर छापने के बाद is fully operational law. अगर it is yet to be printed किसी कारण से वो छापा नहीं जाता है, then it is not effective law, though it is an act, no doubt. प्रेसिडेंट साहब का सिग्नेचर के बाद ये एक्ट बन जाता है, बट ऑपरेशनल एक्ट होना है, then it has to be printed in the extraordinary gazette on the same day. Once President gives his assent, the bill becomes an act. Acts are published in the Gazette Extraordinary on the day on which it is assented to. The date of taking President's assent is intimated to the Administrative Ministry by the Ministry of Law. सिग्नेचर लेने वाला काम मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ लॉ का होता है. So he has they have taken this thing. They will take signature of the President and they will send one copy to the last house, the second house जो भी है जिससे President को भेजा गया है. They will the Ministry of Law will send one copy to the ministry, the Secretariat, and the other copy they will keep. because they are responsible for lawmaking, legislative department of Ministry of Law. So they will keep that. Then they will intimate this has been signed, this has been approved by the president, it has gone to the press and all. Yeah, they will intimate the administrative ministry. Once the act has been circulated, तो एक दफा प्रिंट फाइनलाइज होकर गेसेट में प्रिंट हो गया, that will be circulated not only among these central government ministries and departments, but also among all the states and UTs for their information. Once the act has been circulated, one copy is sent to the Department of Official Language for simultaneous translation. Hindi translation के लिए एक copy उधर जाएगा. Then after that, copies of act are circulated among all offices and the under the government of India as well as the state governments. Withdrawal of bill. एक दफा बिल इंट्रोड्यूस किया गया है, उसको विथड्रॉ करना है तो the minister for some reason he is withdrawing the bill. कभी कभी ऐसा होता है, when the bill is floated in a house and there are certain procedures which we have already seen, it takes months before it gets the shape of an act. So इस बीच में there could be some development which may require major modification in the bill. तो ऐसा स्थिति में बिल को वापस ही लेकर मॉडिफिकेशन के बाद फिर इंट्रोड्यूस करना होता है. So in case a minister wants to withdraw the bill after it has gone into the parliament, so in that case he has to move a motion seeking leave of the house to withdraw. If the motion is approved, if that means permitted, if it is permitted, that can be withdrawn, then there is no need for separate voting or approval, etc. He moved a motion seeking leave of the house to withdraw. If they say yes, then that bill is automatically withdrawn. Suppose bill has been introduced in the house, suppose lower house, bill has been introduced, it has crossed that first stage, that is the bill may be taken up for consideration. ऐसा minister ने ऐसा motion move किया, but somebody said it may be that the bill be transmitted to, that is sent to select committee or joint committee. So उस committee में चला गया. It is in the lab of, it is in the care of the committee. Then the same motion has to go to that committee. The committee, they will have to consider. Suppose उन लोग भी कुछ आधा दूर चला गया है, then in that case वो एक रिपोर्ट ही बन जाएगा. रिपोर्ट के बाद ये मोशन के साथ मोशन भी अप्रूव हो गया, रिपोर्ट भी बन गया, उसके बाद इधर आएगा, then that will be put for approval of this house. Suppose lower house pass ही कर दिया, that is committee stage हो गया, lower house gets passed, then it is passed on to Rajya Sabha. In that case, one approval here, one approval there in the Rajya Sabha. Rajya Sabha se karwaएंगे, that is to seek the approval of, permission of the Rajya Sabha, they will have to request for permission. So just like SLP, पहले SLP को अप्रूव कराइए, then you will go for appeal. इसी तरह one bill has been passed in Lok Sabha, went to Rajya Sabha, then in that case you get the nod of the Lok Sabha to go seek permission of Rajya Sabha. Suppose एक bill withdraw pass हो गया lower house में, then the minister asks for withdrawal. In that case he has to explain, क्या explain करना होता है, whether a new bill to replace the old one is being brought up. ऐसा completely इसको वापस लेकर नया बिल आता है, नया बिल इंट्रोड्यूस करने जा रहे हैं, that has to be explained to the House of People. Then whether the changes are substantial, कि विथड्रॉ करके बहुत बड़ा चेंजेस करने वाले हैं ये भी, then whether the proposal is entirely to be scrapped. विद्रा करके उसको बंदी करा रहे हैं, उसको फिर इसका जरूरत नहीं है बोलकर that is decide कर लिया. These either any of these that has to be explained. Then secret session, जैसे कोर्ट में होता है इन कैमरा प्रोसीडिंग्स बोला जाता है, इसी तरह इन कैमरा प्रोसीडिंग्स इधर भी पार्लियामेंट में भी है. At the outset you should know one thing, a secret proceeding, secret session is available only in Lok Sabha. It is not available in Rajya Sabha. तो इसलिए the leader of the house, mostly it is the prime minister. Suppose it is some other minister who is acting as leader of the house, then he will he will initiate a motion that the matter which we are going to discuss should be discussed in camera in the secret session. So speakers are, please convene a secret session. इसका मतलब क्या है? He will immediately issue orders to the court, the security staff जो भी है. You remove all those people. गैलरी, ऑफिशियल गैलरी में से सबको निकालो, देन विजिटर्स गैलरी से सबको निकालो, एंड देयर विल बी नो दिस थिंग कैमरा वगैरह, एंड देयर विल बी नो प्रेस पर्सन. ओनली परमिशन इज टू द मेंबर्स ऑफ द अदर हाउस. राज्यसभा मेंबर कैन सिट, बट with the condition nobody will take down any notes. And once that secret session is over, thereafter also, without the permission of the speaker, nothing, whatever happened in the secret session, nothing should be published. See, if it is published, it is contempt. Contempt मतलब जेल में भी डाल सकते हैं. तो कोई भी publish नहीं करेंगे. The speaker can convene the sitting of Lok Sabha in secret on the request made by leader of the house. During the secret sitting, no stranger is allowed in the chamber, lobby, or galleries. However, the members of Rajya Sabha can be present. Nobody is permitted to keep a record of discussion in the proceedings. When the need for secrecy of the house ceases to exist, a motion will be moved by the leader of the house or any other member of parliament authorized in this behalf, terminating the secrecy of the proceedings. On adoption of such a motion, a report of such proceedings will be published. Disclosure of the proceedings of secret session is a gross violation of privilege of the parliament. There is no provision of secret session in Rajya Sabha. Then subordinate legislation or delegated legislation. This we have seen already. What is subordinate legislation or delegated legislation? That is, when a law is made, when an act is passed, it will cover the major portion, major ideas will be there in the law. Detailed rule making will be left to the executive, that is the government. Isko rule making power is also legislative power, but the constitution provides for this. So Income Tax Act is an act made by the parliament, but iske niche rules, income tax rules, that is made by the government, that is executive. So इसी तरह so many acts and they are under so many rules. तो इसको scrutinize करने के लिए there is a committee on subordinate legislation, parliamentary committee on subordinate legislation or delegated legislation. I say committee hai, that will scrutinize whether it is within the ambit of the main law, provisions of the main law. Main law में जो बोला गया है उससे बाहर तो नहीं गया ये. Number 2, whether these rules are in accordance, not only in accordance with the law, but also overall overall, it is within the ambit of the Constitution of India. ये दोनों ये देखेंगे. Then once that rule is made, rules and regulations are made under the law, then that is first scrutinized, then it is sent to the parliament. That rule also will go through the parliament. Laws are to be made by legislature. Law making is becoming increasingly complicated and technical. The legislature has neither enough time to deliberate upon, discuss, and approve all the laws, nor the requisite expertise to work them out in procedural and technical details. Though the parliament normally meets for 6 to 7 months in a year, a large volume of legislative work remains in arrears. It is therefore provided that the legislature may delegate some of its powers to subordinate agency. Subordinate agency means the executive. Consequently, the legislature frames the law in general terms and leaves it to the government, that is called the Enabling Act, to make detailed rules and regulations within the limitations specified and to carry out the objects of the legislation and to meet new situations not foreseen by the legislature while enacting laws. Such rules and regulations are called subordinate legislation or delegated legislation. That is why any rule or regulation made by executive is equivalent to a law. That is why Article 13 says rules, regulations, etc., are also like a law. Law means that the law includes these things. So now, money bills and financial bills. Constitution provides an elaborate definition of money bill in Article 110. लोग मेरे से पूछते हैं ये इतना आर्टिकल नंबर है इसको कैसा याद रखेंगे? Some articles must be there in your mind. One such is 110. Constitution provides an elaborate definition of a money bill in Article 110. A bill is deemed to be a money bill if it contains only provisions dealing with all or any of the matters relating to. So 110 के अंदर A, B, C, D, E, F तक, so all items are there. These things relate to money bill. इसमें all may not be there in a bill. 1 or 2 or 3 could be there. The imposition A, that is 110A. The imposition, abolition, remission, alteration, or regulation of any tax that is relating to taxation. B, the regulation or borrowing of money by government, loans from, that is borrowing money. That is you keep in your mind. That is the Consolidated Fund of India is a basket kept before you. Usme all taxes to be brought into that basket. That is A, 110A. Then all borrowings, loans, it may be the government of India may be raising loans from the general public or international bodies. Everything will come into this. So the regulation or borrowing of money by the government. C, the custody of Consolidated Fund of India, the custody of Contingency Fund of India, the payment of monies into or withdrawal of monies from Consolidated Fund or Contingency Fund of India. So this Contingency Fund, actually, they are separately mentioning, but we should always have in mind, there is only one fund, Consolidated Fund of India, जिसके अंदर पैसा डालना है या निकालना है, then you have to have a money bill. That is D. Appropriation of money from consolidated, that is एक तो बजट में DFG बोलता है, दैट इज डिमांड फॉर ग्रांट। उसके द्वारा कितना एक्सपेंडिचर आपको, कितना पैसा आपको चाहिए फ्रॉम द गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया, ये दैट कंसोलिडेटेड फंड, कितना पैसा आपको गवर्नमेंट बॉडीज को चाहिए। The entire budget proposals from so many departments, so many ministries, all put together, they make the budget. तो उसमें कितना पैसा चाहिए, that is DFG, demand for grant. Yeah, the government of India, the executive side of the government of India is demanding certain amount, that is DFG. वो अप्रूव हो जाने से बजट अप्रूव हो गया. That doesn't mean they have got that authority to take out money and utilize. तो उसके लिए एक प्रोसीजर है, दैट इज अप्रोप्रिएशन. द अप्रोप्रिएशन ऑफ मनी फ्रॉम कंसोलिडेटेड फंड ऑफ इंडिया. देन ई, डिक्लेयरिंग ए न्यू आइटम टू बी एक्सपेंडिचर चार्ज्ड ऑन द कंसोलिडेटेड फंड ऑफ इंडिया. चार्ज्ड एक्सपेंडिचर ये क्या ये होता है, दैट इज it is not approved, it is not voted by Lok Sabha. It is taken for granted. It is included in the budget, but separately उसको डिस्कस करके अप्रूव करने की जरूरत नहीं है. जैसे द प्रेसिडेंट सैलरी, वाइस प्रेसिडेंट सैलरी, एनी कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल अथॉरिटी सैलरी, देन स्पीकर, CNDG, AG, इनका सैलरीज, ये सारा चार्ज एक्सपेंडिचर होता है. ये ऐसा चार्ज एक्सपेंडिचर में दिस इज taken out of consolidated fund without the approval of, that is specific approval नहीं चाहिए इसको. लोकसभा अप्रूव मना नहीं कर सकता है. It is automatically it is taken for granted. It is shown because गिनती के लिए तो चाहिए, इसलिए it is shown part of the budget as part of the expenditure, but it is not approved by Lok Sabha. But a bill not be deemed to be a money bill by reason only that it provides for a demand or payment of fees of license or fees for service rendered. Any matter pertaining to 110A to 110F, that is money bill. Anything relating to that, suppose taxation के बारे में है, tax relaxation, that may take the other name, financial bill. That provides for imposition, abolition, regulation of tax, etc., of any tax by a local authority or body purposes. It may be remembered that in case any question arises whether a bill is a money bill or not, the decision of the speaker will be final. He is the final authority. That is why the speaker certifies many times. When it is introduced, he certifies it's a money bill. When it is passed on after passing by the Lok Sabha, when it is passed on to the Rajya Sabha, then also he certifies, because this Rajya Sabha should know it's a money bill. They cannot hold it for beyond 14 days. Then both the houses passed. Thereafter, it is sent to the president. Then also the speaker certifies that it's a money bill, because president has certain limitations with regard to money bills. Then special procedure. This time and again we have seen in bits and pieces. In single place it is written, a money bill can be introduced only in Lok Sabha and only on the recommendation of the president. After the money bill is passed by Lok Sabha, it is passed on to Rajya Sabha with a certificate by the speaker that it is a money bill. The Rajya Sabha cannot reject a money bill, nor can it amend it by virtue of its own powers. It must return the bill to the Lok Sabha within a period of 14 days from the date of receipt of the bill with its recommendations. The Lok Sabha may either accept or reject all or any of the recommendations of Rajya Sabha. If the Lok Sabha does not accept any of the recommendations of Rajya Sabha, the bill shall be deemed to have been passed by both the houses. recommend करके कुछ modifications, suggestions वगैरह करके उन लोग रिटर्न किया है, लेकिन इसको एक्सेप्ट नहीं किया है, those suggestions, or recommendations or amendments made by the Rajya Sabha, they are not accepted by Lok Sabha, yet that will be treated to have been passed by both the houses of parliament. Suppose a money bill is not returned by the Rajya Sabha within a period of 14 days, it shall be deemed to have been passed by both the houses of parliament on the expiration of 14th day. That is, 14 दिन के अंदर वापस नहीं आया, then 14 दिन तक वेट करना जरूरी है. वो वेट करने के बाद it will be treated as if it has been passed by both the houses of parliament. There is no chance of any disagreement between the two houses in regard to money bills as in the case of ordinary bills. Ordinary bill को disputed bill हो सकता है. This lower house passes, upper house doesn't. So it's a three different situations में there could be deadlock. ऐसा deadlock ordinary bill को हो सकता है, not to money bill. Ordinary bill को deadlock होने से article 108 is there to remove that deadlock and get it passed in a joint session, whereas this is not the case here. There is no chance of any disagreement between the two houses in regard to money bills as in the case of ordinary bills. Hence, there is no provision for a joint sitting in the case of money bills. Thus, the approval of money bill by Rajya Sabha in effect is only formal and routine. Other procedure for money bills are the same as applicable to ordinary bills. मेजॉरिटी मनी बिल बोलने से बहुत बड़ा चीज है, इसलिए इसको स्पेशल मेजॉरिटी ऐसा नहीं है. For ordinary bill as well as money bill, we require only simple majority. Financial bill. The Constitution distinguishes money bills from financial bills. Generally speaking, a financial bill may be any bill which relates to revenue or expenditure. जब बजट बनता है, बजट में जो प्रोविजंस है, that is, though it is called a money bill, but any other matter relating to, that is, budget, the consolidated fund में पैसा ऐड करना, रिमूव करना, नया टैक्सेशन करना, these are all ABCD. 110 ABCD में आता है. So suppose a subsidy, a relaxation, a license, etc., that is relating to finance matters but not exactly the money bill. So ऐसा केस में उसको financial bill बोला जाता है. That is why when you present a budget, not only budget should be passed, along with that an abstract bill called financial bill also to be passed. So in summary, खुशवंत सिंह साहब ने एक बार कहा था, खुशवंत सिंह, I think you know who is खुशवंत Singh. He was a literary person. He lived up to the 99 years, but he has not completely entered 100th year, but he did not live to complete that 100th year. So ऐसा कई dignitaries हैं जो 99 years पास कर गया, 100th year complete नहीं किया. ऐसा one person is this, another person is Morarji Desai, another person Shankaracharya. So all these, he once wrote all six are sings. All six are sings, but not all sings are six. किसी का भी नाम पर सिंह लगा होने से वो सिख नहीं बनता है, बट ऑल सिक्स और सिंग्स. तो ऐसा एक स्टेटमेंट उनका स्टेटमेंट एक था. इसी तरह all money bills are financial bills, but not all financial bills are money bills. So money bill means it comes under 110, Article 110. Financial bill means it comes under Article 117. Money bill में joint session का provision नहीं है, because there cannot be any dispute between the both the houses. There cannot be a dispute, so there cannot be a joint session. But in the case of there are two categories of financial bills. In the second category of financial bill, there is a provision for joint session. These bills, that is 117, may first category. These bills make provisions for any of the matters specified in Article 110 for the money bill, but do not contain solely those matters. Example, a bill which may contain a taxation clause, but does not deal solely with the taxation. Taxation clause ho sakta hai. That is in the 110 ABC, that is there. But in case, in addition to taxation, there is some details about exemption from taxation or modifications with regard to taxation, things like that. Then it becomes financial bill. It is comparable with money bill in two ways. किस मामले में it is like a money bill? One, both the bills, money bill and financial bill, can originate only in Lok Sabha. This first kind of financial bill can originate only in Lok Sabha. Secondly, both the bills have to be recommended by the president. Then only it can be introduced. Other procedures to pass the bill and any ordinary bill will be the same. The president may call for joint session of the two houses if they don't agree. So joint session 117 में joint session होता है, possibility is there, but it is not in the case of money bills. Category 2 of 117, it does not contain any of the provisions listed in 110, but contains provisions involving consolidated funds expenditure. That just because this bill contains some provisions relating to expenditure from consolidated fund, this is called money bill. Otherwise, it is very ordinary bill. It can be introduced in either of the houses. It can be introduced without the recommendation of the president at the time of introduction. But after introducing the bill, that is financial bill category 2, after introduction, it has to be taken up for consideration. Stage second. Second reading बोलते हैं ना. So second reading लेने के समय, it needs to be recommended by the president. For not for introduction. First reading के लिए जरूरी नहीं है, but for second reading, that is unique feature of this bill is it could be introduced in any of the houses without recommendation of the president. But president's president's approval is required for consideration of the bill. That is, before it is taken up for consideration. Rajya Sabha can reject or suggest amendments. There could be joint session also with regard to financial bills. Here too, the president has three options as in the case of ordinary bills. Then procedure for obtaining copies of bills. If some cases, the departments or the ministers concerned, they may require copies of bills. That is, kitna copy print kiya jayega? Only 715 in the first consideration mein. Once it is adopted, then all the states, all the union territories, and all the members of parliament, all the central government departments, utna copy print kiya jayega. Some minister may require additional copies for whatever reasons. In that case, they have to place their intent. कितना कॉपी चाहिए वो गैसेट प्रिंट करने के लिए जाएगा, उससे पहले वो डिमांड देना चाहिए. Then ordinance becoming regulation, ordinance and regulations. Suppose एक ordinance is becoming first ordinance becoming a law. Ordinances are promulgated by the president when both the houses are not in session. So that ordinance has to be placed before the parliament, both the houses of parliament, within the prescribed limit, time limit. वो करने के बावजूद इसका लाइफ जो है लिमिटेड लाइफ पीरियड, only for 6 months. Then within that 6 months, the government of the day has to bring a proper legislation. ऑर्डिनेंस अर्जेंसी है, इसलिए ऑर्डिनेंस द्वारा कानून बनाया गया है. When it is ordinance is passed, but it is valid for 6 months, within that 6 months it has to be converted into a law, proper law. So in that case, such a law is made in replacement of an ordinance. Then a resolution has to be passed first, and that has to be, a law has to be introduced in the form of Masoda bill. Suppose a bill is introduced in the Lok Sabha or Rajya Sabha, it is under consideration whether by the houses or by the committees. That during that period, it is very emergent, it is very urgent. Suppose it is the bill is introduced and it is sent to various state governments for eliciting opinion. During that period, there is an emergency that it should be passed immediately. वो नहीं हो पाएगा, because for getting the public opinion, getting the opinion, it takes 3 months max. And after it is received by the parliament, it will be sent to the committee. So committee another 3 months. So it is not possible to enact a law immediately, though it has been introduced. So उस समय they may request the president. तो ये तो कानून बनते रहेगा, बनाते बनाते टाइम लगेगा, आप इसको एक ऑर्डिनेंस का रूप में इसको प्रमलगेट कीजिए. In that case, you have to give the reasons to the parliament. Okay. So this is your parliamentary procedure. Then there is the committee. Parliamentary committees. For exam purpose, this is important. The work done by the parliament in modern times is not only varied in nature, but considerable in volume. The time at its disposal is limited. It cannot, therefore, give close consideration to all the legislative and other matters that come before it. A good deal of its business is therefore transacted by what is called parliamentary committees. Parliament में जो काम होना है, because for want of expertise, for want of time, it is not possible for the parliament to enact all the rules and regulations. इसलिए हम committees का द्वारा parliament committees engage किया जाता है and form किया जाता है, and through them much work is done. The committees are of two different types, that is ad hoc committees and standing committees. Parliamentary committees are of two kinds, ad hoc committees and standing committees. Ad hoc committees are appointed for specific purpose. जैसे हम bill becoming an act, उसमें देखे थे select committee, joint committee for consideration of the bill. These are all ad hoc committees. They are set up, they are constituted for specific purpose. वो काम जैसे खत्म हो जाता है, that is wind up, and that is wound up. Whereas the standing committees, they will be there. That is just like a business advisory committee and so many other, there are about 19 committees. So all these committees are standing committees. Ad hoc committees are appointed for a specific purpose and they cease to exist when they finish the task assigned to them and submit a report. The principal ad hoc committees are the select committees and joint committees on bills. Others like Railway Convention Committee, the committees on the draft 5-year plan, and the Hindi equivalent committee, and so on. Apart from the ad hoc committees, each house of parliament has standing committees like the Business Advisory Committee, the Committee on Petitions, the Committee of Privileges, and the Rules Committee, etc. Some of the committees act as parliament's watchdogs. That is, they will be watching the government. They will be watching the executive, how they perform. So very important committees, watchdog committees, are finance committees. That they are the Public Accounts Committee, Estimates Committee, and Committee on Public Undertakings. So these are finance committees. Some committees act as Parliament's watchdog over the executive. These are the committees on subordinate legislation, the Committee on Government Assurances, Committee on Estimates, Committee on Public Accounts, and Committee on Public Undertakings and departmentally related standing committees. The Committee on Estimates, Committee on Public Accounts, the Committee on Public Undertakings, and the department-related standing committees play an important role in exercising a check over the government expenditure and policy formulation. Select and joint committees. When a bill comes up before a house for general discussion, it is open to that house to refer it to a select committee of the house or a joint committee of the two houses. A motion has to be moved and adopted to this effect in the house in which the bill comes up for consideration. In case the motion adopted is for reference of the bill to a joint committee, the decision is conveyed to the other house, requesting them to nominate members of the other house to serve on the committee. The select or joint committee considers the bill clause by clause, just as the two houses do. Amendments can be moved to various clauses by members of the committee. The committee can also take evidence of associations, public bodies, or experts who are interested in the bill. After the bill has thus been considered, the committee submits its report to the House. Members who do not agree with the majority report may append their minutes of dissent to the report. That is the approval. If suppose 7 members are there, 6 members do agree with the majority, go with the majority, and the 7th member, he doesn't agree, then he can append a note of disagreement, that is note of dissent. Parliamentary committee is a committee elected by the House or nominated. There are only 4 committees elected. That is the 3 financial committees. That is Public Accounts Committee, Estimates Committee, Committee on Public Undertakings, plus SC/ST Committee. These 4 committees are elected committees, and the other rest of the committees all are nominated committees. It works under the direction of the Speaker, presents its report to the House or to the Speaker. The Secretariat for it is provided by the Lok Sabha Secretariat. Whatever committee is, whether it is a committee of the Lok Sabha, committee of the Rajya Sabha, the secretarial assistance will be provided. There is the notes on committee on the parliamentary committees. Don't you have that notes? You don't have. Why was anyway? Then you just hear. I'll send the notes tomorrow. Parliamentary committees are of two types. One is ad hoc committees, the other one standing committees. Ad hoc committees are for a specific purpose. Tell me, registration number 18. Only you don't have copies. I'll send that copy tomorrow or after the class. I thought I have already sent. So you should have it. So somehow I missed it. In fact, I have sent pension notes, I think. Okay. So these committees, I'll tell about a few committees which are very, very important for exam purpose. We'll go through these committees again. That is the finance committees. They are very important for us. Normally, those who discuss the committees, they will take up first PAC, Public Accounts Committee. But Public Accounts Committee, important, no doubt. But the Estimates Committee should get more importance, because Estimate Committee consists of all the members from Lok Sabha, one. Number two, this Estimate Committee has the maximum number for a committee, that is 30 members. There are only 3 committees having 30 members. Then, but the speciality of Estimate Committee is all the 30 members are drawn from the Lok Sabha. And the Public Accounts Committee, whatever it does, that is doing firefighting. That is, after the executive has spent the money granted in the budget, they spend that money, and afterwards that is being accounted for, and that accounting and auditing is done by the C&AG, and C&AG ka report jo hai, it becomes the basis for the PAC. So when the report of the C&AG is taken up for consideration, it will be finding a lot of irregularities. Aapka ye fodder scam, other scams, all these scams are coming out from the report of this PAC, Public Accounts Committee. But whatever is happening, whatever they are reporting, that is after the expenditure has been committed, that is spent, money is spent. After the government spends money, whether that was properly spent for the purpose for which the money was sanctioned by the parliament, that is being looked into by the Public Accounts Committee. Though it is useful, and another importance for this Public Accounts Committee is the chairman of Public Accounts Committee is generally not a parliamentary member. It is not parliamentary member, but he is a parliamentarian. That is very senior most and dispassionate. ऐसा एक मेंबर को चेयरमैन बनाया जाता है, जैसे मिस्टर चेरियन, मिस्टर जोशी, MM जोशी, ऐसा लोगों को इसमें then one Chatterjee, I think. So such people, very dignified members of parliament, they are selected as chairman so that they will not hesitate to point out the irregularities and write a neat report, impartial report on the misdeeds committed by government spending. So that is the Public Accounts Committee, PAC. Whereas that has got a lesser number of members, whereas that is 15 plus 7, 22 members. Hmm? Whereas the estimates committee, it gives its advice even before the budget is prepared. It gives its advice on how to put economy measures, how to impose economy measures. And it also prescribes, it gives its opinion, its ideas, its advice on certain specific ministries, just like defense, home, etc., important ministries. And it also prescribes certain forms how an estimate has to be prepared, so that maximum economy can be achieved. So it is the work of estimates committee is prior to formulating the estimates, and whatever economy they want to impose, that can be done prior to preparation of the budget estimates. Then this committee on public undertakings. This committee, again, 15 members from Lok Sabha, 7 members from Rajya Sabha. Then all these financial committees, they are common things. They have certain common things. That is, it is elected for 1 year only. In these committees, a minister cannot be a member. Suppose a member, one MP, is included in these committees. In the meantime, that particular member becomes a minister. So he is not eligible to continue in that committee. So no minister can be a member, and the committees are elected committees, and the committees are elected for 1 year. These are common things for all the 3 committees. The Committee on Public Undertaking consists of 15 members elected by the Lok Sabha and 7 members from Rajya Sabha. Chairman is appointed by the Speaker from among the members. A minister is not eligible for election to this committee. Yet the term of the committee is 1 year. So these are the common features for all the 3 committees. Then the 4th elected committee is the Committee on Welfare of SC/ST, elected committee. The committee comprises of 30 elected members, 20 from Lok Sabha and 10 from Rajya Sabha. Chairman is nominated by Speaker among the members. Its term is 1 year. Ministers are not eligible to be elected to this committee. So these are common things for all the committees. We'll go further about the committee in the next class. Okay. Now, see, it is better you are provided with the notes, and then we have the class. Okay. Good night.